Which is ultimately better, Forex prop firms or futures prop firms? And which one, more importantly, are you more likely to get a payout? In this video, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of two of the most popular Forex prop firms compared to two of the most popular futures prop firms. And each futures and Forex has their pros and the cons. And then at the end of this list, I'm going to give what I think is the best route to go. So before we dive into the side-by-side comparison, I will just say this. One of the things that futures really has going for them is the fact that they trade on a centralized exchange, which means that all of the brokers' price data is going to be the same, versus in Forex, you get a lot of different broker price data. We also do see some Forex prop firms being shady and denying people's payouts when they are in fact due payouts, which is not something that we really see in the futures prop firm game. So first things first, when we're just talking about trading conditions between Forex prop firms and futures prop firms, I'd have to give it to futures prop firms. You're just going to get a cleaner, more fair environment when you're trading with futures prop firms versus Forex prop firms that can manipulate their data and their price feed using virtual dealer plugins. So first things first, when it comes to futures versus Forex, number one, futures prop firms generally only have one phase that you have to pass. And after you pass phase one, then you're on to trading a funded account. However, with Forex prop firms, generally what's most popular is to do a two-phase evaluation where there's actually two different phases that you have to pass. And if you pass both phases, then you get the funded account. However, it's not exactly black and white. Even though it appears that futures prop firms only have one phase, it's really like you need to pass a second phase in order to get a payout, which I'm going to talk about later on. The second thing that really separates Forex prop firms from futures prop firms is how they calculate drawdown. The first type of drawdown that Top Step actually uses is something called an end of day trailing drawdown. So basically, they'll take a snapshot of your account at the end of the day, and let's say that you've made 2% profit throughout the day. Then what they're going to do is they're going to raise the point where you'd lose your account up by 2%. So you have kind of this trailing drawdown that trails with you, and that snapshot's taken at the end of the day. Now with Apex Trader Funding, one of the big complaints about them is that they have an unrealized trailing drawdown. That means that if your trade even goes into profit 2%, but you haven't closed the trade, then your loss limit is also going to get raised 2%, even if you don't even close that amount. So it's an unrealized trailing drawdown. It makes it a lot tougher to pass Apex Trader Funding. So I'd say out of everything that we're going to talk about here, the big difference between futures prop firms and Forex prop firms is how they calculate drawdown. Either this end of the day trailing drawdown or even unrealized trailing drawdown. Whereas in Forex, you don't really have that. It's generally based on your balance, which makes it a ton easier. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the daily loss limit. So how much you can lose in a day. With Apex Trader Funding, there's actually no daily loss limit, which is kind of nice. On Top Step, the most that you can lose in a day is 2%. If you lose more than 2%, that's actually fine. They're not going to fail your evaluation. They'll just cut the account at 2% and you can continue trading, which is nice. Unlike with Forex prop firms, where generally your daily loss limit on FTMO and on True Forex Fund is 5%. So you have a lot more cushion to be able to trade within that 5% during the day. However, if you do breach that 5%, then they'll completely breach your evaluation account, and they're not as nice as Top Step is with this rule. And in terms of max drawdown overall, with futures prop firms like Apex Trader Funding, then they have a 5% unrealized trailing drawdown. Like I mentioned, Top Step has a 4% end of day drawdown, but most Forex prop firms have 10% total max drawdown, which is significantly more buffer in terms of how much drawdown you can draw in the account. Next thing, let's take a look at the profit target. So on Apex, you need to achieve a profit target of 6%. On Top Step, you need to achieve a profit target of 6% as well. However, on FTMO, you need to achieve an entire 10% in phase one and then 5% in phase two. And for True Forex Funds, you have to achieve an 8% profit target in phase one and 5% profit target in phase two. So while you may look at Apex and Top Step, these futures prop firms, as having less requirement in terms of profit target, they also have a lot less drawdown. So the profit to drawdown ratio is is greatly favoring Forex prop firms. The next thing we'll take a look at is any consistency rules. One of the good things about Forex prop firms is there is no consistency rules, which is really, really nice. With Top Step, they have to have a best trading day of less than 50% of your total profits. That means that if your total profits are $3,000, then your best day has to be less than 50% of that, which would be $1,500. And for Apex, they actually don't have any sort of consistency rules on the evaluation. However, they do have some fairly strict rules when it comes to actually trading the live funded account. So the next thing that we'll take a look at is the price. And in the futures world, it's a lot more common to go for a $50,000 account challenge, whereas in Forex, most people go for 100K, but we're gonna put them side by side and both do a $50,000 account challenge. This is where futures prop firms definitely have an advantage. Apex, generally, their $50,000 account challenge is only $37.40, whereas Top Step is generally only like $49, which is pretty good. Whereas on the other hand, Forex prop firms like FTMO, their challenge fee is $374 currently for the euro to US dollar, so $374 for a 50K challenge, and True Forex Funds is about $324, so it's significantly more expensive to do a Forex challenge versus doing a futures challenge. However, I do believe that the futures challenge are significantly harder, but also at the same time, and I think it may come out sort of in a wash, because with futures prop firms, you also do have to pay an activation fee. So with futures, you have to pay an activation fee after you pass phase 1 of their challenge, and it's going to be $149 for Top Step and either $140 or $85 per month with Apex. So ultimately, 149 plus 49, it's ultimately $200. So it becomes a little bit closer. Futures prop firms are still going to be a little bit cheaper, and you're only paying this activation fee when you do get a funded account. So ultimately, yes, futures challenges are going to be a bit more affordable. Next, let's take a look at profit splits. So in terms of profit splits, the way that it works with Forex prop firms, it's pretty straightforward. Generally, you get an 80% profit split. With Top Step, the way that it works is you actually get to keep 100% of the first $10,000 that you actually withdraw, and then 90% after that. And with Apex, you get to keep 100% of the first $25,000 in withdrawals, and then you get to keep 90%. So yes, in this case, futures prop firms are paying out a higher percentage, but they do have some interesting rules in terms of how you can actually qualify for a payout. So next, let's take a look at the minimum days in order to get a payout. So for Apex, you need to have 10 minimum trading days. For Top Step, you need to have 5 winning days of $200 or more. So you actually won't even qualify for a payout unless you do have 5 days of $200 or more. And with FTMO and with True Forex Funds, they don't really have any rules around this amount, how many minimum trading days you need to qualify on the funded account in order to receive a payout. So in this case, I would say Forex prop firms are slightly better in this category. Next category we'll look at is payout amount minimum. With Apex, you need to have a minimum payout of $500. There's none for Top Step, none for FTMO, and none for True Forex Funds. Next thing we'll take a look at is the payout minimum balance. So the one thing that's difficult about Apex is that on a 50K account, you actually need to grow your account to $52,600 in order to even qualify for a payout. Whereas with Top Step, FTMO, and True Forex Funds, there's no requirement of any sort in terms of the amount of money that you need to make in order to qualify for a payout. So this is a disadvantage for sure for Apex. So lastly, what we'll take a look at is the payout structure. So for the Forex prop firms, it's pretty standard. Generally, they have a bi-weekly schedule where you can get paid out twice per month. With Top Step, the way that it works is that you can request a payout of up to 50% of the account balance, but after 30 winning days of trading, then you can unlock 100%. And with Apex, you only get 2 payout periods per month with a max payment of $2,000 allowed. This is only for the first 3 months. Now, one other important thing to think about with futures is that the way that it works is, let's say you have a $50,000 account, you grow it to $53,000, and then you want to withdraw, say $1,000, then your drawdown is going to be cut by that $1,000. So any money that you don't withdraw that you've made profits on the account, this essentially works as like equity in your account that you can use like as a buffer. So anytime you make a withdrawal from a futures prop firm, that affects your equity. So what a lot of people will do is once they get their funded account, they'll actually, wait to make some decent profits in the account. Then they'll take a small withdrawal So they have this larger buffer that they can play with in order to continue to make profits and have a little bit more drawdown. So ultimately in this category, I would say that Forex prop firms are easier. So let's recap what we've covered so far. So here's what I will say. I will say in the fairness of the trading environment with futures is going to be a lot better than with Forex prop firms. I will say that one of the things that futures also has going for them is the fact that they only have one phase that you need to pass, and the fact that the challenge fee is significantly cheaper. Besides that, I'd say that passing a Forex prop firm challenge is easier, even though it's 2 phases, simply because you have a lot more favorable profit to drawdown ratios. Ultimately, if it was up to me, I would say that if I was somebody not living in the United States, then I would probably continue with reputable Forex prop firms and just try to stick with the reputable ones, because there are some shady Forex prop firms for sure. And I'd say if you're in the US, you could trade with some of the prop firms that are still allowing US traders, or you could start to transition to futures like we've seen a lot of people do. So as an American, I would say it's a toss-up between trading with a different Forex prop firm that still allows US traders or just trading a futures. I'd say it's kind of 50-50 for me right now. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you need help passing a prop firm challenge and becoming a funded trader, then I want to invite you to visit www.propfarming.com, where we guarantee we can help you become a funded trader. We've helped over 700 people do it with our unique trading algorithms and our prop farming process. Oh yeah, and by the way, we're duplicating all of our algorithms and our leaderboard over for futures as well. So that's going to be coming out very shortly. I hope this video was helpful, and check out this video right here. I think you'll find it really interesting.